Join us on Patreon and become part of our journey to uncover history's untold stories. Your support helps us create in-depth content, bring hidden narratives to life, and keep history alive for everyone.
The Black Wampanoag are a unique, deeply rooted part of American history whose story intertwines with the foundational moments of colonial America, yet remains largely overshadowed by more mainstream narratives. Their legacy, however, is one of resilience, survival, and cultural perseverance, embodying the complex and multifaceted experiences of African people in early America. Often overlooked in popular accounts, the Black Wampanoag served as a bridge between two very different worlds: the indigenous peoples of the New England region and the African men and women who were forcibly brought to the Americas. Their history offers a deeper understanding of the early dynamics between Native American tribes and African slaves, a relationship that would evolve dramatically over the centuries. As one of the first groups to experience both the brutality of slavery and the intricate cultural landscape of Native American societies, the Black Wampanoag offer a powerful narrative that challenges common perceptions of early American history. Their story begins long before the first African slaves were brought to the New World, with roots that stretch deep into the pre-colonial landscape of the Wampanoag people. The Wampanoag, a proud and ancient tribe, had lived in what is now southeastern Massachusetts for thousands of years, long before the arrival of Europeans. They were a people whose existence was characterized by complex societal structures, deep spiritual beliefs, and a profound connection to the land. With the arrival of English settlers in the early 17th century, the Wampanoag, like many other Native American tribes, were forced to navigate an entirely new reality, one dominated by colonization, disease, and the encroachment of foreign powers. The relationship between the Wampanoag and the English settlers would become one of both cooperation and conflict, as both sides sought to maintain their way of life in an increasingly hostile and unpredictable world. However, it was in the context of this emerging colonial reality that the Black Wampanoag would begin to make their mark on history. In the early 1600s, African slaves were brought to the English colonies, where they were used primarily in agricultural labor. Many of these Africans, however, found themselves in a world far more complex than the one they had left behind. Rather than being confined solely to European plantations, many African men and women found themselves interacting with Native American tribes, either as slaves, captives, or later as free people. In some cases, Africans were assimilated into Native American cultures, where they found a sense of freedom and autonomy that was not available in European society. Among these groups, the Wampanoag were particularly receptive to the inclusion of Black individuals into their communities. The Wampanoag, unlike many other tribes, had a long history of intermarriage and cultural exchange with various peoples. This openness to diversity made them one of the more fluid and adaptive tribes in the region. By the time of the first Thanksgiving in 1621, when the Wampanoag had famously come together with the Pilgrims to share a feast, there were already Black individuals among them, both as allies and as members of the tribe. The story of the Black Wampanoag cannot be separated from the broader history of Native American enslavement and the complicated interactions between African slaves and Native tribes. While many Africans were forcibly brought to the colonies and lived under the brutal conditions of slavery, others were captured during conflicts between Native tribes and European settlers. These captured Africans were sometimes adopted into Native communities, where they could form new identities and assume new roles. In some cases, these individuals were integrated into the tribes in a way that blurred the lines between slavery and freedom, creating a unique cultural synergy. One of the most well-known figures in the history of the Black Wampanoag is a man named Pompey. Pompey was an African man who was captured by the Wampanoag in the early 1600s after being kidnapped from his homeland in Africa. He was brought into the tribe as a servant but quickly gained the trust and respect of the Wampanoag people. Pompey's story is remarkable not only because of his survival in a foreign and hostile land, but also because of the degree to which he was assimilated into Wampanoag society. He eventually married a Wampanoag woman and had children, becoming an important figure in the tribe's early history. In addition to Pompey, the Black Wampanoag included several other individuals who played key roles in the tribe's interactions with European settlers. These individuals often found themselves in a position of cultural negotiation, as they were able to straddle both the African and Native American worlds. Their presence within the Wampanoag tribe helped to shape the tribe's identity during a time when survival was often contingent on adaptability. The Black Wampanoag's involvement with the early history of the United States, particularly during the period of colonization, is often underappreciated. While much of the focus has been on the struggles of African slaves and Native American tribes in isolation, The reality was that these two groups often found themselves entangled in complex relationships. In the case of the Wampanoag, these relationships were shaped not only by warfare and trade, but also by a shared experience of resistance to European domination. The Black Wampanoag were at the center of this resistance, serving as key players in the cultural exchange that defined the region. The Black Wampanoag's role in the colonial resistance was not limited to just their presence among the tribe. Throughout the 17th century, the Wampanoag found themselves in conflict with a growing English presence in New England. As the English colonies expanded, so too did the pressure on Native American lands and resources. This led to several bloody conflicts, most notably King Philip's War 1675 to 1678, which was led by Metacomet, the Wampanoag chief. During this conflict, the Wampanoag, alongside several other tribes, fought fiercely against English encroachment. Black Wampanoag played an important role in this war, fighting alongside their Native American kin in a unified front against the settlers. King Philip's War was a devastating conflict that resulted in the decimation of many Native American tribes, including the Wampanoag. However, it was also a symbol of the power and resilience of the Black Wampanoag, who, alongside their native counterparts, fought fiercely to protect their land, families, and way of life. The end of the war did not mark the end of the Wampanoag presence in New England, but it did signal a period of significant change for both the Native American and African communities. In the aftermath of King Philip's War, the Wampanoag tribe faced severe consequences. Many members of the tribe were killed, captured, or forced into slavery. The survivors were often dispersed to various parts of the New England colonies. Despite these hardships, the Black Wampanoag continued to hold on to their cultural heritage. They were able to adapt to the changing landscape of colonial America, forming new identities and alliances. The descendants of the Black Wampanoag would go on to play significant roles in the history of New England, as well as in the broader African American struggle for freedom. Today, the legacy of the Black Wampanoag is still present in the cultural fabric of New England. Many of their descendants continue to live in the region, carrying with them the rich history of their ancestors. The story of the Black Wampanoag is a reminder of the complexities of early American history, one that is marked by both tragedy and triumph. Their tale is one of resilience in the face of overwhelming odds, a testament to the strength and perseverance of both Native American and African people in the early years of colonial America. While the story of the Black Wampanoag may be little known to many, it is a story that deserves to be told and celebrated. It serves as a powerful reminder of the interconnectedness of different cultures and the ways in which people from different backgrounds have shaped the history of the United States. The Black Wampanoag are an integral part of the American story, and their legacy continues to resonate today.